Hello everyone, my name is Lauren Bush. I am married to my high school sweetheart, John Bush, and I am the mom of 9 amazing kids. In my pre-doTERRA life, I was a medical ICU nurse. About 95% of my patients were trached and ventilated, so you could kind of say respiratory care is my thing. And so while I know part of the invitation as to why I'm here today is because of my medical background, I actually want to start off with sharing information that I have learned because of my most precious title. When my daughter Chloe was 9 months old, she was diagnosed with a really scary respiratory issue. The thought process for me as a mom and a medical ICU nurse is that we get a diagnosis, we'd receive some medication, and we kind of go on with our way. The problem was that's not really how it went. The doctors couldn't figure out what was causing her attacks. They couldn't figure out why the medication wasn't working. They couldn't figure out what was going to happen if she stayed on the amount of medication that she was on for any prolonged period of time. And in fact, we actually got to a point where the doctor said, we don't know how to help. So I found this amazing quote that actually sums up our journey, which is, if you're unable to understand the cause of the problem, thank you, it is impossible to solve it. You see, at the beginning of our journey, I actually had a friend ask, are you open to trying essential oils? And unfortunately, my ego totally got in the way. I thought, you have no idea how sick my child is, and you have no idea how smart I am. I am a nurse. If there was something that was going to help my child, me or my colleagues would have already heard of it. And my ego got in the way for 3 years. 3 years of sleepless nights, 3 years of watching my daughter suffer, until we got to the point of complete and utter desperation. And then I opened up and I said, yes, I'm willing to try essential oils. And while our very first essential oil experience was enough to make me an instant believer, it was the lifestyle changes that came along with doTERRA that made the greatest impact on my daughter's health. You see, I'm a little bit ashamed to admit, but I had a very toxic routine in my house. So all of my crunchy mamas who are watching this right now, please try hard not to cringe too bad and know that I have learned so much. You see, my daily routine looked a little bit like this. Every single day, I'd come downstairs and I'd light a couple candles because ambiance. Then I'd go and I would check all of the plugins in my house and I'd see if they needed new cartridges. I'd then grab my bottle of Febreze and I sprayed every single soft surface in my house. A couple times a week, I'd put down carpet powder because even the carpet needed to smell good to me. When it came to laundry, I actually chose my laundry detergent based on how strong my clothes would smell when they came out of the wash versus how clean my clothes came out of the wash. In fact, that's how I chose my laundry detergent and my fabric softener and the Bounty bar that was in the dryer and the extra little smelly pellets that I poured into the washing machine. It was that bad, guys. But the piece that I thought I had figured out the greatest hack as a mom was when I went around and I changed my kids' sheets once a week, I would take a bottle of baby powder and I would sprinkle it all over the mattress, and then I'd put the clean sheets on, and then I'd pat the bed so a little powder came through because I love the way that my kids would smell when they woke up in the morning. I didn't know that what I was doing to make my house feel and smell like home was causing the problems that we were so desperately looking for solutions for. So let's really talk about the cause of disease. And there's 2 really big culprits that I want to focus on. One is nutritional deficiency. It's a big one. Second is chemical exposure. Some might argue that genetics play a big part in this, but I want you to think of genetics like this. What was your grandmother exposed to while she was pregnant with your mama? What was your mama exposed to while she was pregnant with you? And then what are you being exposed to now? Because all of those influences, all those chemical exposures influence our genetics. In your lifetime now, the things that you're exposed to, which Nicole just kind of touched base on, trigger things called epigenetics. We can turn certain genes on and we can turn certain genes off. So here are 2 amazing articles, and believe it or not, they were published 1 year apart. First one's from ABC News, and it says, the average woman is exposed to about 168 chemicals on a daily basis. Huffington Post did the same article 1 year later. the average woman is now exposed to 515 synthetic chemicals. And what's more dramatic to me than the increase of chemical exposures, it's that last part of the title, without knowing. So what the heck is the problem? How do we not know what we're putting on our body? And this is the problem. As consumers, we think, oh, it's on the shelf, it's been tested, it has to be safe. No one would sell something that's not good for my health, right? That would be incorrect. In fact, if we looked at the cosmetic industry alone, which is something we place on our skin on the daily, right? There's over 10,000 chemicals that go into formulation. Now, there's some really amazing countries that have gotten together and they're looking at the chemicals and what they do, and they've banned about 1,400 of them. Unfortunately, the United States is not among them. The FDA has only banned 11. So now I want to put my practitioner's hat back on, and I want you to see what the health impacts are from these chemical exposures. So first, I have to address hormonal health. You know, I think this is that topic that we have the greatest awareness of, but definitely the least amount of respect for, because we write it off as a mood issue, which is why this e-card was so easy to find, right? I don't think you understand how these hormones work. You're gonna make me do something that'll end up on the news. Guys, our hormones control so much more than that, right? It's our growth, it's our development, it's our metabolism. Did you know type 2 diabetes is a hormone imbalance? Sexual function, reproduction. Most of us have probably also seen this picture of the cell right here in some of Dr. Hill's amazing presentations as he talked about the power of phytoestrogens. But I want you to focus on the little red dots, the xenoestrogens. And I want you to understand that xenoestrogens is really an umbrella term. It's all the chemicals that either mimic estrogen or have a major influence on our estrogen levels. We are wellness advocates. Are we really living up to that title if we only offer a solution to the problem, but we do not teach about how they are causing the problem that they need a solution to? This is affecting our unborn babies, causing birth defects. It's affecting our teens, causing a mental health epidemic. And yes, this is a men's health issue as well. Men, when you compare the data, a 50-year-old man today has the same testosterone level as a 70-year-old man in the 1950s. So you're not being spared. I know part of what I love is science and research. I could do it all day long. And I'm sure there's a big group of you that are like, yes, throw it at me. I could do 1,000 slides. Sounds good, right? And then there's the other half of you going, please don't do more science and research. So I summed it up all in one slide, and both groups are going to be happy. I want you to know that there are tens of thousands of research articles on exactly what the chemicals do to our body. Chemical exposure has been linked to rising rates in cancers, asthma, autism, anxiety, depression, infertility, birth defects, obesity, insulin resistance, and other health issues. Many of these chemicals have never been tested for safety. Plus, they accumulate in the body and they interact in potentially harmful ways. Our babies are being born with hundreds of chemicals already accumulated in the body, and they still face a lifetime of exposures. So how do we help? Well, first of all, you can't avoid them all. These chemicals are in our carpeting, our vinyl flooring, the coating on wires and cables, shower curtains, raincoats, plastic toys, your car steering wheel, the dashboard, the gear shift, your medical devices, and our food and water. Our bodies, like my son, are literally screaming for help. It has become vital that we eliminate as much as possible. Our home care and our personal care are completely under our control. Plus, doTERRA has us covered. We have amazing products that cover almost every aspect of our personal care and cleaning our homes. And if doTERRA doesn't have it, there are some amazing clean companies out there that might also have it, or learn to DIY. Now, I know there are some wellness advocates right now that just rolled their eyes when they heard DIY. So I'd like to remind you, I have 9 children, I homeschool, and I run a doTERRA business. I can do all my DIYs in about 3 ingredients or less, one of them being an essential oil, in an upcycled pickle jar. You have the time and you have the resources. I like my products like I like my people, non-toxic. It is our job as consumers to know what we are purchasing. but it's our responsibility as wellness advocates to help teach others. Most people have no idea that they are causing the very health issues that they are looking for solutions for. I almost lost my daughter because I just didn't know. Making a commitment to understanding the health impacts of the products we use, to terrorizing our homes, and teaching others to do the same is going to amplify your impact, bring life back into your business, and make deeper connections with your friends and family. We can do this, guys.